Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my 2014 favourites. I have decided, as I mentioned in my previous video, that I will be breaking it down into two videos because otherwise this is going to be really long. I have an awful lot of makeup to talk to you about, so today's video is just going to be solely on makeup, and next week's video is going to be a mixture of skincare, body products, hair products. There's just going to be a complete mix in there. So I'm going to get started off with tools. There were two tools that really stuck out for me last year. I've had a whole horde of new brushes that I've been trying out, but there were two products that really stuck out for me. One is the Beauty Blender. Excuse the state of this, it is due a wash. And as you all know, I did get this in a Birchbox. I have done a full review and tutorial of this, so I will pop the link down below for that. But for me, this has just been completely life-changing with regards to foundation. It has made the application of foundation so much easier. It blends it out beautifully and it leaves you with a really flawless looking complexion, and it looks completely natural. There's no blotchy, there's no cakiness, nothing. It applies the perfect amount. These are a bugger to clean. I find that I'm at the sink for at least 10-15 minutes trying to rinse this out and make sure that it is perfectly clean. Otherwise, this is literally a tool that since I've had it, I've been reaching for every single day. So this has by far got to be one of my most favourite tools of 2014. Next up is a brush. It does a similar job to the Beauty Blender, and this is just a buffing brush from Real Techniques. You can only get this in the starter set, but I think it's well worth investing in the starter set purely just for this brush. If anything ever happened to this brush, I would just invest in that set again just to get this one. I love the Real Techniques brushes. I own so many of them now. They're really affordable, they're super easy to clean, and they have such a longevity to them as well. With this one, I will apply the foundation first of all with the Beauty Blender, and then I'll go through and buff it out with this just to make sure that it's evenly distributed and perfectly blended. This one I find is really good for kind of getting in around the nose and like around the eyes, whereas the Beauty Blender I kind of feel that you just have to kind of dab wherever you can, and then it's better to go in with this and blend everything out. So I haven't really put foundation in the 2014 favourites because, to be quite honest, I still haven't found that foundation that I am raving about. I'm still in the early experimental stages of foundation, and I'm struggling to find a foundation that perfectly matches me and suits my odd skin combination, because with the mix of oily and dry, I can find that sometimes the oily foundations tend to cling to the dry areas, and it can just be an absolute nightmare. So I haven't put a foundation in this video for that purpose. So for the base, I have put in a primer, and that is the Mercier Foundation Primer. I have only got the smaller version here, but this has been amazing. I've loved using this. It just creates a really nice, silky, flawless base for your foundation to adhere to. It's a really lightweight, creamy gel. You can barely even notice that you've got this on, but I've just been finding that this has been making my foundation last so much longer. Next up are eyeshadow products, and I have two palettes and one single shadow to share with you. I'm going to start off with the single shadow. This is the NARS Dual Intensity eyeshadows, and I have the colour Phoebe here. It's the only one I've picked up so far, but they are about to bring a palette out with several of these in, which I'm hoping to be purchasing sometime in the near future because these are just incredible. I literally just wear this on its own because used with a blending brush, it blends out and looks like there's several colours in there anyway, but the intensity of them is just incredible. They're highly pigmented and they look beautiful on. You all knew that this palette was going to be featured in this video because by far one of my favourite products of 2014 had to be this palette. And it's the Sephora It palette. I raved and raved when I got this palette, and I've been raving about it ever since. I have just hit pan on one shade here. The rest have had a fair bit of use. I am beginning to use the matte shades a little bit more as I'm getting into matte shades, but the whole palette just generally, I find it's a great one to take away with me. There's everything I need in there to create a range of looks. There's mattes, there's shimmers, you've got your brushes, you've got a pencil. It's just a fantastic palette. I don't know if you can still get this in Sephora. If you can, I will pop links down below, but this was well worth the money that I spent on this when I was in Rome. It was one of the best buys I have made all of last year. Next up is another palette that you could probably guess was going to be featured in this video because it's from another brand that I absolutely adore, and it's the Makeup Revolution, and this is their Redemption palette Iconic 3, which is said to be very similar to the Urban Decay Naked 3. I've never personally owned any of the Urban Decay palettes, but this is a great affordable version of those. I've seen blogs where they've compared the two different palettes and the shades, and they look exactly the same. And this one is by far a lot cheaper. But again, the range of colours in here is beautiful. You have everything in here that you would need if you were going away. So you could literally just pop the one palette in your suitcase or travel bag and be done. Again, there's a mixture of mattes and shimmers. The colours are really pigmented and look beautiful on, blended out or just worn solely on their own. But again, this was another palette that has been amazing for me last year, and I literally just switched between this palette and the Sephora It palette because as far as I'm concerned, they have everything in that I need. The concealer that stood out to me in 2014 was of course the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I have the shade Vanilla, which is stupidly difficult to get hold of, and this one is almost on its way out. I have like a little bit left, so I'll be needing to repurchase this, and of course I'll be repurchasing it. This is just a fantastic concealer. It goes on amazingly, it doesn't cake, it doesn't crease under your eyes, and it literally covers up any blemishes, spots, or anything else that appears on my face, giving you a natural flawless complexion. I honestly have no complaints about this, and by far it was well worth the money. I don't think that there is ever going to be another concealer that compares to this. Next is another face product, and this is the Topshop Illuminator in Ember. This was another kind of palette combo that I raved on and on about. I just think the shades in this are beautiful. You've got a really nice highlight at the bottom, you've then got the brown bronzy colour for bronzer or contour, and then you've got this nice dark pinky red at the top for blush. I've just found that these colours blend out really well and they look beautiful on. Again, Topshop was a new discovery for me last year, but this was by far one of my favourite products, and definitely still one of my favourite products to use on the face even today. The next category is blush. I really struggled to narrow it down to just one blush, so I've put two in. One of them is a palette, and this is the Sleek Blush by 3 in the shade Lace. So you've got 3 different colours in here. One is more of a shimmer and the other 2 are more matte. At the beginning of the year, I used this a ridiculous amount. They were a bit outside of my normal shade range that I'd experiment with, as they're a bit more orangey coral colour, but I really got into loving these, and again, they're super blendable and they look really pretty on. In terms of brows, there was really only one product that stood out for me last year. I kind of dabble between eyebrow pencils, and I haven't really settled on one that I absolutely love, but I have found a brow gel that I completely adore, and that's the Maybelline Brow Drama. I kind of switch between medium brown to dark brown, just depending on what stage my eyebrow tint is at. But I really love this. The formula is great. It doesn't go on cakey or crisp and leave your eyebrows feeling really hard. The brush is the perfect size to go in and grab all of the eyebrow hairs so that they all stay in place, and it really does last all day. For eyeliner, there's only really one product that I've ever used, and I still use to this day. I've experimented with a few others, but I've never found anything quite compares to this, and it's a drugstore brand. It's the Collection Fast Stroke Eyeliner in the shade Black. I have been using this for I don't know how many years, and I've just never really found anything quite as good as this. For $2.99, I think this is a fab product. It's a liquid eyeliner. It comes with a tip just like so, but with this tip I find that it's perfect to create thick lines, thin lines, and a variety of different eye looks. The long tip really allows you to get in close to the lash line and draw on the perfect line. I've never found anything as easy to use or as long lasting as this. I know some liquid eyeliners that I've tried are a bit cakey and flake off. This does not do that at all. The only time this sometimes comes off is when my eyes water, but you can buy the waterproof version of this, but I prefer just to stick to this. Last category for eyes is eye crayons. And I couldn't really pick one product that I specifically liked, so I've got 2 here from Topshop and 1 from Rimmel. I only really got into eye crayons towards the end of last year. I've normally not been a massive fan of the kind of cream formulation of blushes, crayons, the whole lot. Then when I received this one in a box swap, I gave it a try and I fell in love with them. The formula is so much different to what I'd tried in the past. It doesn't crease in the eyes and they blend out really nicely. You can get them in so many different colours, and I just love the fact that they are so easy to apply that you literally just have to put one swipe of this on and your eyes are done. Honestly, I've not found any eyeshadow products that are as good and easy to apply as these. They're just so versatile, and I love the fact that they come in metallics, they come in mattes, they come in shimmers. You can literally pick them up in anything. And I love the fact that they're in pencil form because it makes it even easier to apply. My last category is lips, and I'm going to start off with a lip liner. This is the Rimmel Moisture Renew lip liner, and it is white. So I struggled to find lip liners that match perfectly with my lipsticks. So the solution to that was to get the invisible one so that the lipstick still didn't bleed, but I had something that matched the colour of the lipstick. This is absolutely brilliant, and I find that if I apply a whole layer of this before I put on a lipstick, it does make it last an awful lot longer and it doesn't fade or go patchy. I love the versatility of this product. It's just a fab discovery and I really enjoyed using this throughout 2014 and I'm sure it's going to continue to be a lifeline throughout 2015. Next up are lipsticks, and there was really only one brand that stood out to me and I've got several of their colours now, and that was the Makeup Revolution lipsticks. They are £1 each. I have 3 shades here. This one is in the One and this one is Beloved and this one is Dazzle. For £1, these are an absolute bargain. They apply really smoothly, they're long lasting, they're highly pigmented and they are super moisturising at the same time. I don't know another lipstick brand that you could pay £1 for a lipstick for and get the same kind of quality as well as the same range of colours. They literally have hundreds of colours in these lipsticks. I do have about 5 or 6 of these now. I've also got some of the glossy tubes, so I'm hoping to use those and see what they're like. But these have really been the only lipstick that have truly stood out to me in 2014 just because they are so affordable and the shade range is brilliant. My last makeup favourite of 2014 to share with you is a lip pencil, and it's the Maybelline Colour Drama Intense Velvet Lip Pencils. I was going to feature in the NARS version of these pencils, but to be quite honest, I only own one of them and I do find them a little bit drying. These are just so much better. The shade range on them at the moment isn't amazing. I am hoping that Maybelline will bring out a few more shades. I have 3 here in the shade Orange, Light It Up and Minimalist. Again, they're just super easy to apply. They're really versatile. They aren't overly moisturising, but I do find these less drying than the NARS version. NARS version is also on the pricey side. These guys are only $6.99 and I think I picked these up when they were on special offer and got 3 for 2. They're also really easy to carry around in your handbag when you're on the go and just top up, because I know with bold lips sometimes they can fade throughout the day and you can only really wear a bold lip if you're prepared to keep applying it throughout the day, but these are great to just shove in your makeup bag or your handbag and carry around on the go. So there you have my makeup 2014 favourites. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss the second part of this video where there'll be skincare, hair care, perfumes, all of that kind of thing. I will be back next Sunday with part 2, so I'll see you guys then. Bye!